right, well, we're going to talk now or connect with someone in a sector that is very much part of the climate change debate, argument, controversy, whatever you want to call it. He is the new head of, I think, the best established and best known farming support network and lobby group in the country, Federated Farmers, which is a well-coordinated network of people in primary production across the country. He was selected after the incumbent, or his predecessor, declared he was standing for the National Party. He's just been announced over the weekend as fourth on the National Party list, Andrew Hoggard. But the new boss head, I think it's chief executive or president of Federated Farmers, is Wayne Langford, and he joins us now on his mobile phone. Wayne, welcome to the platform. Nice to have you with us.
Yeah, morning, Sean, and President. Geez, I
President.
don't need all the three. I don't need all the three titles. That'd be a job to do. President's enough. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Wayne, firstly, just tell us a bit about yourself. Where are you from? What sort of farming do you do? How long you been in the organisation?
Yeah, I'm a dairy farmer. I come from up Golden Bay at the top of the South Island. We milk about 250 cows there with my wife and three boys. I've been involved with Feds since about 2014. Went to a local provincial meeting and actually had the president at the time speaking at that meeting and signed myself up. And then ever since that day, I've worked my way up through the ranks. And one of those organisations where if you keep putting up your hand, you keep seeming to go up the ladder. So.
All right.
So
I just have to correct, by the way, your predecessor with ACT, not National. I misspoke. Wayne, where in Golden Bay is your dairy farm?
Oh, anyone that's been to the salmon farm or gone fishing there when they've been on holiday.
Yeah,
we're not far from there. So you'll see Langford Road, and we're just up the road from there. So that's where we are.
Okay, so it's Langford Road. This is an intergenerational thing for you.
Yeah, we're about sixth generation in Golden Bay, so we've been kicking around for a while. Yeah. So we breed like rabbits, us Langford. So there's a few of us kicking around that area. Yeah.
All right. Wayne, you probably weren't expecting to become president when you did. Perhaps, as I understand, Andrew's ambitions and what happened there came as a bit of a shock to some people. But as you do take over as president of the organisation, what do you think are its priorities right now? What do you think are the most important issues facing you and other Feds members?
Yeah, good question, and yeah, it was a bit of a shock when Andrew stood down, but really all the best to him, and it's great to see that he's got a good position on the list for his party, so that's good to see. In terms of our short-term focus, it really is around the election, making sure that the government and all parties understand exactly what farming is looking for, seeing what they can commit to before the election, so that we can hold them to that after the election. We've got an election platform with 12 key priorities, which we've spoken with them all about over the last month or so, and we'll be continuing to speak to them about then. I think what's really key, that's kind of the short term, but what's key after the election is that we get farming back in around the government table a lot more. We've been told by the current government what to do quite a lot without being consulted, and really we need to work harder to be able to help provide the solutions rather than being told kind of how to do and what to do with regulations. So we think we've got a role to play there, and hopefully we can get that done after October.
All right, we probably haven't got time to go all through all 12 of your priorities. What are the top three?
Oh, well, they're all pretty important, but obviously, climate change and where we're going with emissions pricing is very important. What we're doing in the freshwater space is another thing, and then the likes of RMA and RMA reforms are a big part of it as well. So. But that's not to discount the likes of, getting rid of a ute tax, allowing share milkers to use their KiwiSaver to buy the first home and that sort of thing off farm, and other little things like that we're also batting for. Real easy wins for a government to put in place.
Do you feel you're making progress on, let's take an example, the climate change issue, where, let's be fair, in broad terms, you have for, 15 years, certainly the last 5 or 10, farmers painted as the bad guys that need to be controlled or forced to take action on climate change. You really have been vilified as a group. And climate change was, the greatest existential and real threat to human existence. Do you think that narrative is changing a little bit, that the heat's coming off a little bit?
Yeah, I know for a lot of farmers, they'd probably feel that no, it's not. But when you do look back, when you mentioned 10 years there, yeah, we have moved quite some way. I mean, we've advocated for and really pushed for a split gas approach to get methane out of the carbon dioxide scenario and judge it differently, which it is, and we've achieved that. We also need to, when there has been a lot of talk around pricing emissions ever since, I was still in high school, really, or even younger, and what I think we're finding, and we're still finding this in discussions, is that it's just not an easy thing to do. And when you're talking about the dollars involved, and particularly the dollars that it could cost some farms, we need to make sure we get it right and that we get these calculations right. And so that's what's taking a bit of time around this space and to get it done. And I know that there'll be green groups out there that won't be happy and say that we're moving too slow. But in behind the scenes, if you take away the idea of pricing and whatnot as a whole, when you look at how far our sector and our industries have come in the last 5 years even, and the awareness around climate change and what we're doing on farm and the changes that we're making already, I mean, it is significant. So, and that's only going to amplify over the next 5 years as well. So I'm not too concerned in terms of where ag's sitting, and we've just got to make sure that the government are on board with that journey too.
Right. The other thing that strikes me, Wayne, is that you do have some competition now, and I look at an organisation like Groundswell, who, from an outsider's perspective, are a little more radical, a little more activist than you are. Does Federated Farmers disregard the growth of a group like Groundswell, because they are in some ways cutting your lunch a little, aren't they?
Oh, no, not at all. The Groundswell have a role to play, and they had a role to, they've had a role to play, and they certainly came from a point of real frustration from the farming community, where just the overburden of regulation that was, teeming down on us, was getting too much. And so that's where we saw the ultimate frustration and really those first protests come from. So we can see that. At the time, Feds are continually working with councils and government and whatnot to get the best result we can for farmers. But at times when it does get too frustrating and whatnot, I can see why something like Groundswell pops up. And credit to Laurie and whatnot to what they did there, Laurie and Bryce. So around gaining awareness, for what farmers were going through. But we've also got a slightly different role to play, where we actually have to, when government says, well, what do you actually want? That's when Feds come in and we, we've got to help provide some answers and get through some of this bloody long, tedious policy that gets put out.
Yeah. Do you believe yourself, Wayne, in man-made climate change?
Yeah, I do. I think that we can always improve what we're doing, and we've always got to look at what we're doing, around the globe. And when we look at what we're doing in terms of on-farm to improve emissions and that sort of thing as well, it's actually improving efficiency and improving what we're doing in terms of just how we'd improve our farms anyway. And if it means cutting down on waste and using less fuel and this sort of thing, that's what we're looking at doing anyway.
Yeah, but I ask you whether or not you believe that left unchecked man-made climate change will destroy the planet.
Oh, I think there's definitely an effect from humans on the planet.
No, will it destroy? Is it like the existential crisis we're all going to be underwater?
I think we've definitely got to be concerned about it. I don't see the... I don't know how it's going to play out, and we continually get different messages from scientists and whatnot around the world. But there's certainly concern, and we've certainly got to do as much as we can to limit our effect. Of course, there'll be natural effects as well, but we've got to do what we can to limit our effect. And if that ties into to improving our production and our efficiency on farm, then it's kind of a win-win. But we've got to make sure that we do get that win-win, and it doesn't cost our farming and farming businesses in rural communities, their livelihoods, really.
Look, one other issue I want to raise with you, it's very, very current. The Green Party's saying they want to change our laws so that private property can be included in Māori land settlements under the Treaty of Waitangi, and they're also going to, if you like, remove the deadline for Treaty of Waitangi claims, essentially move towards having more land, they would argue, repatriated to Māori or to the original owners. Up till now, private land has been excluded from Treaty of Waitangi claims. How would Federated farmers feel about a policy change like that?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie on this one, Sean. I'm not an expert in this area, so I'm not going to try and answer that one too thoroughly. But I think we've seen the response from a lot of parties on this over the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it's an idea from the Green Party. Green Party has plenty of ideas, as we know. And so it's yet another one to lay on the table. But I know our team are looking through what they put out yesterday. We haven't come up to any kind of conclusions on it yet, so I won't jump in there too thick today. But like I say, it's another Green Party idea.
Now you must be about ready to knock off for a few hours after doing the morning milking, Wayne.
No, well, I've been up on the AM show on TV this morning, and I'm actually in Wellington at the Fed's office today. So,
you poor bugger.
Busy day in Wellington, so that's how it goes.
All right, Wayne, I thank you very much for your time. Nice to interview on the platform for the first time. Wayne Langford, the president of Federated Farmers, replacing Andrew Hogarth, who, yes, is on the ACT list. ACT list at number 4. Geez, groundswell makes the Federated Farmers look almost lefty, don't they?